Every night, I sneaked out of my husband's room to go and sleep with Alhaji Mentus, the famous madman in our street. The stinking Alhaji Mentus was the last person anyone would imagine I would sleep with after repeatedly promising my husband that I would never share my body with another man. I married Ebuka at a young age after he impregnated me shortly after my WAEC examination. Life was difficult for us. Ebuka had no stable job except helping a Hausa merchant, Alhaji Mentus, at the bridge market. Whenever Mentus refused to pay him, we would go to bed hungry. Sometimes Ebuka would break down in tears. "Don't cry, Ebuka. Everything will be fine," I would say, holding his trembling hands. But the next morning, I would wake up only to realize he had already left the house in search of another hopeless day. One fateful evening, I went to pluck fresh water leaf from our neighbor's farm when I suddenly saw an old woman holding a faded picture of my husband. Fear gripped me instantly. I turned to run, but her voice stopped me. "I'm not here to harm you," she said calmly. "I came to help you." My heart pounded heavily. "What are you doing with my husband's picture?" I demanded. At first she refused to answer, but after much pressure, she finally agreed to explain everything on one condition: that I followed her to our temple. "Why would I follow you? I don't even know you," I shouted. "Because I'm trying to save your husband," she replied before disappearing into the bush path. Curiosity swallowed my fear, and I followed her. Deep inside the forest stood a dark ancient shrine covered with red cloths and burning candles. The moment we entered, the old woman turned toward me slowly. "Listen carefully, child," she began. "Your husband carries the shadow of death upon his head." Cold fear rushed through my body. "Every night you return from Alhaji Mentus," she continued, "your husband wakes to another sunrise." My breath caught instantly. "Today your body belongs to Ebuka alone is the day death will remember his name." Goosebumps covered my skin. "If you choose faithfulness to your marriage, your husband will die in your arms," she said. "But if you continue to stay in your vows with another man, Buka will continue to live." Tears gathered in my eyes. "What are you saying?" I cried. "Why would I sleep with another man just to keep my husband alive?" The old woman moved closer and lowered her voice. "Because your husband is not an ordinary man." The shrine suddenly became cold and silent. "Long before Ebuka was born," she whispered, "his spirit was tied to an ancient covenant connected to Alhaji Mentus." My legs trembled. "I don't understand," I muttered weakly. She raised the faded photograph again. "Ebuka carries a powerful ancestral spirit. At death, walks beside him like a shadow. The only thing delaying that death is the bond between you and Mentus." I stepped backward in horror. "No, that's impossible." "Listen carefully," the woman said firmly. "The day you stop going to Alhaji Mentus, the spirit protecting Ebuka will leave him, and your husband will die." Tears rolled freely down my cheeks. "But why him?" I cried. "Why must it be that madman?" The old woman's expression darkened instantly. "Because every sacrifice demands a price." A strange wind suddenly swept across the shrine. "The moment you begin this journey with Mentus," she continued, "his mind will slowly be taken from him. The burden meant for your husband will shift into his soul. Little by little, madness will consume him until the streets begin to call him a lunatic." My knees became weak. "So, Ebuka will live because another man will suffer?" The old woman nodded slowly. "One man must lose himself for the other to remain alive." She suddenly grabbed my wrist tightly. "You don't have much time," she whispered. "Before the next market day, you must begin the sacrifice. or prepare to bury your husband. Suddenly, a violent wind blew through the shrine. The candles flickered wildly, and for the first time in my life, I heard Alhaji Mentus screaming my name from deep inside the forest. To be continued. Episode 2 drops soon. Follow Paul, the writer, so you don't miss the next chapter.